even need to read the rest of the description. I'm not feeling it.
Is book of the month worth it? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be testing out book of the month for 3 months. Sorry I sound sick. I don't sound sick in the rest of the video, which is good. My goal was to read each book before the next month came out. I think that's all I have to say. I've always wanted to try book of the month, but I never could justify it. And then I was like, well, if I make a video, I can justify it. So that's why we're here. Truthfully, honestly. But yeah, let's get to the video. Okay, my camera is precariously placed and I'm a little nervous. But my first book of the month came and I was like, I need to film me opening it because I, one, never opened one, two, I'm filming this video, so I literally have to. I can only show you that side because the other side has my full name and my address, which, you know, I'm not looking to share. So, but I can show you book of the month here. First look. I got this hat. I got the hat this month, and this might have been the final push because I've wanted this for a while. This hat might have done it. This hat might have been the reason. I'm gonna have to make it bigger for sure. Wait, I have a pretty big, oh, see, and now we're realizing this might be the type of hat that doesn't look good on. But I got the well red hat, which it's in corduroy. I don't know, maybe I could do. I've been trying to wear more hats for summer because I burn really easy, really easy. And this is a good, so my scalp doesn't burn on my face. It's a little more protected, but I got the well red one because I thought that was the cutest one. Ew, no way it just did that to me. And also it reminded me of Obsessed by Olivia Rodrigo. So, you know, I had to do it. And then the book I picked for this month, this is cute, it says fiction forward. Little book of the month, and then it says, it's been pages since we met, which is actually so cute. So cute. Do I need another bookmark? No. This is the book I picked, The Names by Florence Knapp. I actually was going in between this one and Home of the American Circus, which is probably a book I will read at some point. I have a lot of books I need to read, so who knows when I'll be reading that. But I did pick this one, even though I think this book will ruin me. I'm not good at using trigger warnings. I will look at them and I'll go, oh yeah, that one ruins me. That trigger warning I can't do. Or I literally can't do at this point in time. And I'd be like, yeah, but I'll like it. And this one I think is going to hit a little too close to home. That's all I'll say. But I think it'll be really good. The concept of it is really good. I'll read the synopsis. In the wake of a catastrophic storm, Cora sets off with her 9-year-old daughter, Maya, to register the birth of her son. Her husband, Gordon, respected in the community but a controlling presence at home, intends for her to follow a long-standing family tradition and name that baby after him. But when faced with the decision, Cora hesitates. Spanning 35 years, what follows are 3 alternate and alternating versions of their lives, shaped by Cora's last-minute choice of name. In richly layered prose, The Names explores the painful ripple effects of domestic abuse, the messy ties of family, and the possibilities for autonomy and healing. Through a prism of what-ifs, Florence Knapp invites us to consider the one precious life we are given, full of hope. This is the story of 3 names, 3 versions of a life, the infinite possibilities that a single decision can spark. It is the story of one family and love's endless capacity to endure, no matter what fate has in store. That sounds so good. Will I cry? Maybe. Will this make me spiral? Quite possibly, but I think it sounds so good. Right now I've been really reading, which is why I was like, oh my god, I'm cutting down my physical TBR. Let's get book of the month. Is that the smartest thing? No, but it is only 1 book a month. And I got my hat. So yeah, but that's all. I just want to do my opening on camera. But that's all. Okay, I realized it was a missed opportunity to not pick last month's book of the month book with you guys because I'm doing this video. So the new ones just came out. It is May 29th. I have not read my other book, but also I did start this end of May. So we're going to read through the books. I'm going to read the synopsis of each book and then we'll pick. You'll kind of see how I decide on books. Okay, the first book, The Summer We Ran. Have you ever wondered what would happen if your teenage love waltzed back into your life? Maybe you'd catch up with them at a bar or a wedding, or possibly you'd pass each other on the street without batting an eye. In The Summer We Ran, 2 former lovebirds run against each other in a gubernatorial race and experience a whole new form of reconnecting. Tess and Grant have history. They spent a sweaty summer in the 1990s falling in love when they were just 17. Now they're going head-to-head in a toss-up election to become the governor of Virginia. Tensions rise as Tess and Grant relive past pain points and endure new ones, manage their marriages and their campaigns, and experience the consequences of teenage heartbreak in their adult lives. I don't know how I'm feeling about that. It's not like drawing me in or anything. That was a contemporary fiction. Okay, the next one, What Kind of Paradise, is historical fiction. Growing up in an isolated cabin in Montana in the mid-1990s, Jane knows only the world that she and her father live. The woodstone that heats their home. There's a missing comma, okay? I'm not crazy. The woodstone that heats their home. The vegetable garden where they take to eke out a subsistence existence. The books of 19th century philosophy that her father gives her to read in lieu of going to school. Her father's elusive about their past, giving Jane little beyond the facts that they once lived in the Bay Area and that her mother died in a car accident. The crash propelling him to move Jane off the grid raised her in a thorough-like utopia. As Jane becomes a teenager, she starts pushing the boundaries of her restricted world. She begs to accompany her father on his occasional trips away from the cabin, but when Jane realizes that her devotion to her father has made her an accomplice to a horrific crime, she flees Montana to the only place she knows to look for answers about her mysterious past, in her mother's San Francisco. It is a city in the midst of a seismic change where her quest to understand herself will force her to reckon with both the possibilities and the perils of the fledgling internet, and where she'll come to question everything she values. Maybe. Once again, not really hooking me. Okay. Mystery called The Ghost Writer. June 1975. The Taylor family shatters in a single night when two teenage siblings are found dead in their own home. The only surviving sibling, Vincent, never shakes the whispers and accusations that he was the one who killed them. Decades later, the legend only grows as his career as a horror writer skyrockets. Ghostwriter Olivia Dumont has spent her entire professional life hiding the fact that she is the only child of Vincent Taylor. Now on the brink of financial ruin, she's offered a job to ghostwrite her father's last book. What she doesn't know, though, is that this project is another one of his lies, because it's not another horror novel he wants to write. After 50 years of silence, Vincent Taylor is finally ready to talk about what really happened that night in 1975. So that one kind of sounds good. That's my first one that I'm like... Okay, next one, contemporary fiction called Next to Heaven. New Bethlehem, Connecticut is a town of picture-perfect lawns, manicured hedges, and multi-million-dollar homes, but beneath the designer, yoga gear, and country club memberships lies a darker reality. In this world of excess, Devon and Belle have it all. Beauty, money, status, but they want something more, something dangerous, something that makes them feel alive. Their solution? A party, a meticulously curated gathering of New Bethlehem's elite, from a desperate ex-NFL quarterback to a hockey coach with a penchant for married women to a ruthless Wall Street closer who wields his wealth like a weapon. One night, multiple betrayals, and a murder that will shatter New Bethlehem's carefully constructed facade. No quotation marks. Suburban swingers party spins out of control in the witty, feverish novel of life along the ultra-rich. No, probably not. I'm such a hater. I'm like such a hater. Okay. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V. Schwab, which I actually don't think I've read a V. Schwab book. Wait. No, I actually haven't, which is shocking. Okay. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. This is a story about hunger. 1532, Santo Domingo de la Calzada. A young girl grows up wild and wily. Her beauty is only outmatched by her dreams of escape, but Maria knows she can only ever be a prize, or a pawn, in the games played by men. When an alluring stranger offers an alternate path, Maria makes a desperate choice. She vows to make no regrets. This is a story about love. 1827, London. A young woman lives an idyllic but cloistering life on her family's estate until a moment of forbidden intimacy sees her shipped off to London. Charlotte's tender heart and seemingly impossible wishes are swept away by an invitation from a beautiful widow, but the price of freedom is higher than she could have imagined. This is a story about rage. 2019, Boston. College was supposed to be her chance to be someone new. That's why Alice moved halfway across the world, leaving her old life behind. But after an out-of-character one-night stand leaves her questioning her past, her present, and her future, Alice throws herself into the hunt for answers and revenge. This is a story about life, how it ends and how it starts. Okay, that sounds kind of good. That sounds kind of good. Okay, and then the last book, King of Ashes, is a thriller. Graphic violence? When eldest son, Roman Caruthers is summoned home after his father's car accident, he finds his younger brother, Dante, in debt to dangerous criminals and his sister, Nevaeh, exhausted from holding the family and the family business together. Nevaeh and their father, who run the Caruthers crematorium in the run-down central Virginia town of Jefferson Run, see death up close every day. But mortality draws even closer when it becomes clear that the crash that landed their father in a coma was no accident, and Dante's recklessness has placed them all in real danger. Roman, a financial whiz with a head for numbers and a talent for making his clients rich, has some money to help buy his brother out of trouble, but in his work with wannabe tough guys, he's forgotten that there are real gangsters out there. As his bargaining chips go up in smoke, Roman realizes that he's the only one thing left to offer to save his brother, himself, and his own particular set of skills. Roman begins his work for the criminals, which Nevaeh tries to uncover the long-ago mystery of what happened to their mother who disappeared when they were teenagers, but Roman is far less of a pushover than the gangsters realize. He's willing to do anything to save his family, anything, because everything burns. Okay, I'm not feeling that. I'm a little shocked there's no Pride Month books. You know, that feels a little weird to me, but that's okay, I guess. Okay, so I'm feeling either Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil or The Ghost Writer. Oh, I guess the V. Schwab book does have LGBTQ themes, which saying themes feels weird. Okay, I think I'm going to choose Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil. And I'm going to add Ghost Writer to my Goodreads so I don't forget it. Yeah, I just think it sounds really good. So I'm going to make that my book of the month. We've picked my book for June, so. Okay, I'm almost done with the names. I'm not going to spoil anything because we will talk about it in a second. And we're in the last section, 2022. And I could cry. And so that's why we're filming. Reading time. And I have my things because I wasn't going to do anything, but now I have two because we'll talk about it. No, don't tell me. Why isn't he calling? I didn't think this is what would make me cry. I didn't predict this. Oh my god. We were lucky, weren't we, Mama? I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. Oh, don't even. Why are we not bringing this up? How dogs don't need to live as long as humans. They're simply so good at finding the joy in life, as if we were put on this earth to extract a certain amount of happiness and can leave once the job is done. Don't? What? I don't need this. I'm so close. I don't need this on top of everything. Okay, I finished The Names by Florence Knapp. This immediately was a 5, I'll tell you. I'm gonna do like a brief review of this book, but I'm not spoiling anything because that's not what this video is. Like I said before, I got this book knowing that the trigger warnings are usually things I very actively avoid. But reading the synopsis, like, made me feel like it wouldn't be too bad. Like I would be triggered, but like it felt like it was done in a way that was very delicate. There's books that I have read that felt like it wasn't. I'm not going to get into that, but it felt like it was almost like used as a shock factor, and like I can't do it. This, not saying it didn't trigger me. It did, but it was so beautifully done because it follows 3 different storylines in like these 7-year increments, all following like this choice of name, which is something I really liked because when I first read the synopsis, I was a little worried that it would be like the actual name is what's changing each of these storylines. Not saying that that couldn't be true, but that would need to be more like a commentary on society rather than like what the book was about. But it more is so the decision of the name is changing these different timelines. I don't want to say anything too much to spoil it. It was just so good. And I don't know if I would have read it if I hadn't picked it in my book of the month because I didn't really know it was coming out. And like after I picked it in my book of the month, I like saw YouTube videos of people being like, oh, this is coming out, I'm so excited. But like I'm like, am I only noticing this because like that's the book that I picked, you know? And so I don't know if I would have like really reached for it, even though like I think it's in like my top 10 favorite books. Like this book is so good, and I can't get into it too much because I don't want to spoil it. I also don't want to like this book, there are just it's a little personal, and so I did mark 3 little quotes. I wasn't going to mark anything, but I went, I have to. I won't be reading those. That's a little too personal. The book is a little, like, some parts are a little too, like, close to home, I guess. But I loved this book. I picked it up 2 days ago, and I was, like, tired, but I knew I wouldn't be able to fall asleep, so I'm like, okay, I'll read until I can fall asleep. And then I got 40 pages in, and I went, okay, I love this book. And then yesterday, if I didn't work yesterday, I would have finished the book because I reached like over halfway, I think, before I went to work, or like about halfway. And then I read it at work, and then I read it today, and then so I just really loved this book, and I was unsure. I was a little worried because like when I picked it, I was like, yes, this is great. And then I was like, did I bite off more than I could chew with this topic? And although this isn't to say there aren't some very awful things that happen in this book, I just think that it was done in a way that showed care and like was like someone was actually trying to tell these stories and share the story, and it wasn't meant to like be this big shocking thing. It was meant to be like, this is the story. I don't know if I'm explaining this well. When I was thinking about talking about this book in my head, I think I did a way better job. But I just really love the concept of this book. I loved this book so much. I can't recommend this book enough. I'm so glad I chose this book. Like, this book is so good. Read this book. I mean, check the trigger warnings. If it is too much for you, do not read it. Like, do not read it, because I'm saying it was not too bad for me. There are some moments that I was like, oh, okay. So, check the trigger warnings. But first month for book of the month, it's Slade. It's Slade. So thank you, book of the month, because this book is so good. And this is a debut author. I love this book. Okay, that's all. Hey guys. Okay, I got my next book of the month. So I thought we should open up together, even though literally right before this I went to grab my knife and my knife fell right behind my bed, so it kind of upset me, but that's okay. Also, don't mind, I have like waterline eyeliner on. I wore it last night. I went to a concert. It never comes off, so now I just look like my hair's not even done, but I have I have waterline eyeliner. Okay, you guys can see first. Hello. I mean, you guys already know what book I chose because we chose it together. Well, I chose it and you guys were there. Here's the bookmark. I don't like this one. I was confused at first. I don't love that. Okay, but here's my book. I'm excited about this book. Also, I didn't realize this till literally today. I was watching someone's video. I think that's kind of cute, or has the date on it. Because I don't know if I said it, I don't love the giant logo on the book. Like, this is probably my least favorite part of these books, it being here and here. But I'm excited to read this. Also, my book is kind of like fucked up. There's like lines on my book. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that. I don't think you will. But yeah, that's that. This is kind of a hefty book for a hardcover. Oh, it is a hefty book. 533 books. Pages. Okay. Okay, but this one's so good. 3 young women, their bodies planted in the same soil, their stories tangling like roots. One grows high, one grows deep, and one grows wild. All of them grow teeth. Now that sounds right up my alley. That is why I picked this book. So, yeah, that's all. I have nothing else to say. Just that this book might take me a while to read. 500 pages is a lot. And I'm like currently reading a book that's really long and it's taking me a while. So, that's all. Hey guys, okay, I finished Bury Our Bones in Midnight Soil. I like this book. Like I said before, at least I think I said before, I've never read a V.E. Schwab book. This is my first book that I've read by her. Why is it so hard? I've always wanted to read is it the Villains series? Yeah, Vicious and Vengeful, and I just haven't. There's so many books you want to read, I haven't read it yet. I for sure am more likely to reach for them after I've read this because the writing was very good in this book. Okay, let's get into this specific book. I think overall I'm going to rate this like a 4. I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as the names. It's not like a 5-star for me, mostly because, and at this point I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but I don't love fantasy, and for some reason I didn't think this was fantasy. I thought this was historical fiction, which in a way it was, but that's what I thought it was. It was like a historical fiction book about 3 women, and it was. But I didn't know it was a vampire book until the first day I started reading it, and I saw maybe something on the Book of the Month app or something, and I went, oh, this is a vampire book. And I'm glad I knew before I got to the part where there were vampires, because I was like, if I wouldn't have, I would have been like, what the hell is going on? That being said, this last half of the book I have like read so fast, like so unbelievably fast. So like obviously I liked it. My complaint, and I think the reason I didn't make it a 5, is there is a section in the end, because you're jumping back and forth between different point of views and different timelines or time periods, and the end almost felt like we were just like, how do I say this without spoiling something? We were with like one point of view, one timeline. Sorry, my dog is walking. We were like on one point of view, and it almost was just like telling us everything instead of it being like a story. It like almost felt like, I don't know, I wish it was a little more interspersed as the whole book was. So that's my only complaint, but like I said, I still gave it a 4. I liked it. I definitely wouldn't have read this book had it not been in Book of the Month, because if I had seen it was like a 500-page vampire fantasy, I wouldn't have picked it up. And like I might have been like after reading the synopsis, which really drew me in, I might have been like, oh, that's interesting. And then once I learned it was a vampire, like it just wouldn't have been at the top of my list, so it never would have gone picked. You know, like there's so many books that it just never would have. Not that I would have been like, oh, this is awful. Just like it wouldn't have been a top priority, so it never would have been read. So that's a plus. And I liked it. And I saw 533 pages, and I saw this, and I went, you know, that might take me a while. And I think, let me check exactly how many days. I think I've only been reading this for like 4 days, which is kind of insane because like I've been working and stuff. So like how did I get it done that fast? Who knows? Yeah, I started June 12th, I finished June 15th, which means now I have like a while to my next book, so doing pretty good with finishing them before the next one comes, except I didn't finish the other one before this one came, but sue me. But that's like really fast for the amount of pages it is. But yeah, I think I got to the halfway mark yesterday, so I read like 275 pages today, maybe. Yeah, that's that. I finished this, my first V.E. Schwab book. I will definitely be picking up at least the Villains series. I know everyone loves Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I actually own that because my mom has read it, but she didn't love it, and so I just never like reached for it. But that being said, I am finished, and we shall see what happens with the books next month. I'm excited for that. Everyone's been DNFing the summer we ran, which I kind of expected to happen. I didn't know what the controversy would be, which, if you don't know, basically they're running for different parties, and they have very different moral views on things. And yeah, it never drew me in. I didn't know it was gonna have that. I also would have been very upset if I got the book and then this man is pro-life and I'm supposed to be rooting for them to be together. I already didn't like the book because they're married, aren't they? I don't know. But that's the drama that's been happening. But if you DNF a book, you get a credit back. I didn't know that. I learned that from this controversy. But yeah, this book is finished. I have 3 things I tabbed. I think they're all spoilery. Wait, let me see. Oh, that's such a sweet one, but I I wouldn't feel good sharing it. Okay, this quote I just liked. We grow together in this garden. Oh, I love that quote. And that doesn't spoil anything. No context, has no idea. Oh, this paragraph was good, and this doesn't spoil anything. But the world is supposed to be changing. Some years it seems it does, it in leaps and bounds. Others the progress is so scant it hardly registers. I just like that quote. But yeah, I'm done. And the next time I see you for this video will be choosing the books for book 3. And then I've done 3 months, which is kind of crazy. And I've liked them both. Bye. Okay, hey guys, so today I'm going to be picking my July book of the month. And let me grab my phone. If I'm being honest, it is in fact a little late. And by a little, I don't know if you'll be able to see that. I don't know if you can see that. July 24th. We have like a week left of July and I haven't picked it yet. That's my bad. I was literally like sitting there waiting for it to come out, so excited. I was like, oh my god, it's come out, and I like didn't look at it at all, didn't even look at it slightly, because I was like, I want to do it on video and I want no ideas. Yeah, so it just didn't happen. So we're going to pick I just don't want to like get a book and I hate it. None of these books have like amazing reviews. Okay, Among Friends has a 3.1, which makes me a little nervous. Oh, okay. I saw something that makes me not want to read it about Among Friends. Do I skip a month? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna skip this month just because like none of these books were like speaking to me, and the only book that I was like maybe was Among Friends, and then it didn't have a good review like I said, and then I went to like the frowny face on book of the month, and the first one said like, if this book is indicative of how the author sees women, I'd worry for the women in his life, and that's just not something I could do or get over, and so we're just skipping, even though I did pay for it. But maybe next month I'll have 2, so this video is going to continue into the 4th month technically. Okay, we are back, and it is much earlier than last month, a week ago basically. It is in fact July 31st. It is not even hit August yet. I think the books came out yesterday, and I was like, I will do better this month. I will do better. We will not be late. I was gonna say we will not skip the month, but I'm not gonna promise we're not skipping the month. Also, I forgot that I have like a whole month to film because I want to do 3 full months of reading. I don't want to count last month as my 3 months, and I kind of forgot that, and I was like thinking about how I felt about book of the month so I could do my little wrap up, and I was like ready to do that today, and I was like, wait, that's not what we're doing. Okay, so there's 5 books that we have to choose from, and I think I technically have 2 credits, so if I do love 2 books, I can pick 2 books. Yeah. Okay, first book, Seduction Theory by Emily Adrian. It's a literary fiction. See, love triangle, salacious, marriage issues, academic. I don't know how I'm feeling about that mix of things, but let's just read the synopsis. Simone is the star of Edwards University's creative writing, renowned wolf scholar, grief memorialist, and campus sex icon. Her less glamorous and I hate when I know a word because I've read it, but I've never said it out loud. Devoted husband Ethan is a forgotten novelist and lecturer in the same department, but when Ethan and the department administrative assistant Abigail have sex, Simone and Ethan's faith in their flawless marriage is rattled. I don't want this. We don't even need to read the rest of the description. I'm not feeling it. Okay, All the Tomorrows After is a young adult, which I actually think, by Joanne Yee, which I think this is the first young adult I've seen on here. Obviously, there's probably been young adults before. First one I've seen. Emotional, sad, family drama, coming of age. Okay, sounds like something I'd like. Each night, Winter Moon counts her earnings, dreaming of escape. Once she's saved enough, she and her grandmother can finally take flight and disappear. But when her spiteful mother steals her mother and blows through it all in one day, Winter is forced to turn to her strange father, who recently reappeared in her life after being absent for more than a decade. They agree upon a simple contract. She spends time with him in exchange for payment. It's not easy reconciling the past and the present, though, and when she's struck with sudden loss, Winter flounders in grief and rage. The only person offering a hand is June, the boy at school who sees Winter when no one else does. When Winter discovers a secret her father has been keeping from her, things get even more complicated as she navigates grief. First, love and forgiveness. Winter begins to forge connections, new and old, that make her question her future, her conviction to disappear, and what it really means to be family. Winter knows that broken things can never be fixed, but can they come back together in a different way? Sounds amazing. Like, I'm gonna be honest, sounds just like I like. Sounds like something I'd love. Okay, next. The Man No One Believed, True Crime by Joshua Sharp. 80s, underdog, social issues, unsettling. In 1985, a white man walked into a South Georgia church and brutally murdered Harold and Thelma Swain, two pillars of the area's black community. The killer vanished into the night. For 15 years, the case remained unsolved. Then authorities zeroed in on Dennis Perry, a carpenter who grew up nearby. Convicted with devastatingly flawed evidence, Perry received a double life sentence. When award-winning journalist and South Georgia native Joshua Sharp retraces the case, he discovers a winding path of corruption, devastating missteps, and secrets. Driven by the pursuit of the truth, Sharp's investigation takes him through dusty courthouse archives, down winding dirt roads, and into intense interviews, but he keeps knocking on doors even after they're slammed in his face. Sharp uncovers explosive evidence that helps prove Dennis Perry's innocence, and he confronts a long-ignored suspect, an alleged white supremacist who had bragged about committing the murders. But the fight for the truth is not easily won. When a key figure in the investigation turns up dead under suspicious circumstances, Sharp's sources and editors insist that he could be in danger, and even as evidence mounts of Perry's innocence, local officials work to keep him in prison until Sharp's reporting forces the state to launch a new investigation 35 years after the Swains murders. Driven by Sharp's tireless reporting, The Man No One Believes tells the unbelievable story of one of the most confounding cases in Georgia history, the extraordinary fight to free an innocent man, and how state officials worked against odds to deliver justice for the Swains after all. Is this book real? Am I stupid, or is this book real? The true story of a grisly murder, the man falsely accused of the crime, and the journalist fighting to set him free. Okay, kind of really into that. I feel like, oh, it said true crime. Did I read that as mystery? In my head I did. Okay, next. Forget Me Not by Stacey Willingham. This is a thriller. This one is a thriller. Psychological, creepy, slow build. Sorry, I feel like I'm losing it. 22 years ago, Claire Campbell's older sister Natalie disappeared shortly after her 18th birthday. Days later, her blood was found in a car, a man was arrested, and the case was swiftly closed. In the decades since, Claire has attempted to forget her traumatic past by moving to the city and climbing the ranks as an investigative journalist until an unexpected call from her father forces her to come back home and face it all anew. With the entire summer now looming ahead, a summer spent with nothing to do in her childhood home with her estranged mother, Claire decides on a whim to accept a seasonal job at Galloway Farm, a muscadine vineyard in coastal South Carolina, less than an hour away from where she grew up. At first glance, Galloway is an idyllic escape for Claire, a scenic retreat full of slow-paced nostalgia, as well as a place where her sister seemed truly happy in that last summer before she vanished. It feels like the perfect place to pass the time. However, as soon as Claire starts to settle in, she stumbles across an old diary written by one of the vineyard's owners, and what at first seems like a story of young rebellion and love turns into something much more sinister as it begins to describe details of various unsolved crimes. As the days stretch on, Claire finds herself becoming more and more secluded as she starts to obsess over the diary's contents, as well as the lingering feeling that her own sister's disappearance may be somehow tied to it all. Galloway was supposed to be a place to help her move forward, but instead, Claire quickly finds herself immersed in her own dark and dangerous past. Okay, this one is also intriguing to me. I don't know if I've said this before, I'm not like the biggest thriller person ever, so like if I'm picking between top two, it might not make it, but it was intriguing. Okay, last one. It's a fantasy called Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie or LV Marie? Ivy Marie. 400 plus pages, multiple viewpoints, LGBTQ themes, and magical. I don't love fantasy as well. Welcome to Blackwood Academy, the legendary school located on the fringes of the afterlife. Once a pupil enters the academy's arched gates, there is no way out except for the decennial, a once-in-a-decade celebration in which a single worthy student is tested and given a choice: graduate and join Blackwood's magical elite, or cross over to the mysterious other side. This time, though, the roles have changed. This decennial isn't a celebration. It's a competition, and there can only be one victor. Two academic arch-rivals whose strange connection blurs the lines between obsession and hate. One girl, driven slowly by ambition, and another plagued by memories of the love she lost. And a charming playboy who never cared for anyone until he met the academy's newest student. Each of these 6 students has their own motivation to win and their own secret to hide. But what none of them know, they aren't the only ones playing Blackwood's game, and if they lose, some fates are worse than death. not feeling it. Okay, so my top 2 right now are All the Tomorrows After and The Man No One Believed. I'm going to check Goodreads. I know this is probably like what people say not to do. I just don't want to grab a book and it has like a 2. Okay, All the Tomorrows After has a 4.2. So probably will be grabbing that. Okay, and The Man No One Believes has 4.5. So I will be grabbing, my final pick is All the Tomorrows After and The Man No One Believed. Those are my 2 books. I'm excited about these 2 books. I think this will be a fun last month of this video. And now I have 2, and they're 2 different ones. And I don't read a ton of like true crime books. This case is very intriguing to me, and I think it's going to like show a lot of the problems we have with our systems. So I'm very interested to read about it. And also, like, I was reading, I'm like, this sounds good. I'm like, wait, this is real. Like, they're listing the author's name, and for some reason, like, I said true crime, I think, and just it didn't compute in my head. So I'm excited about that. I have 2 credits, so that's a slay. So I'm getting 2 books. I was gonna say I'm getting 2 books for free. I in fact paid for these books. I did in fact pay for these books, but those are our 2 books. I'm excited to get them. I'm excited I am ordering them like at the time that I should be ordering them. Oh, I've hit friend status. I don't really know what that means. All the benefits. Let's see what my benefits are. Lower price on add-ons. Add up to 5 books each month. Enjoy member favorites in addition to monthly selections, and vote for book of the year. Okay, fun. That's all. We've picked our book. I'm excited about that. I'm glad I'm not late. I do feel a little bit better about being late because I didn't like the books last month. But yeah, those are my August picks.
Okay guys, we are back for the final book wrap up and then the wrap up of the video. So as you saw, I got these 2 books. I didn't, I guess, film opening this. I actually kind of remember that, and I think I went, oh, I've never filmed any of them, and that's just a lie. And I think it was this month. This book was messed up. Oh yeah, you still can kind of tell, like, look, the spine is not in the middle. It was even worse before, and I semi-fixed it. Obviously, it's not fully fixed, so I do want to say that. Besides that, opening it was the same. I got a pink bookmark for being friends, so it didn't have any, like, fun little quote on it. But it was pink. But let's get into these books. I greatly enjoyed both of them. I think I'm giving them both, like, a 4. So let's go book by book. This book, I really liked. Like I said before, I haven't read a lot of true crime books. And so I really like this one. I think it did a really good job at, like, showing the broken system and how it affects so many people besides just the victims, and how many people are adverse to seeing that change because then they have to, like, admit that they had done wrong. The amount of time it took them to convict the correct people is insane, but not shocking, which is sad. But yeah, I feel like this was a good book. There was one review that I, like, vehemently disagreed with. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, okay, so someone said that it didn't really hit its stride until part 3. And, like, maybe I'm defending this book too much, but I kind of feel like that was an important part of the book because it was showing how long this investigation was. And it also was, like, there was so much until he had come on the case. Like, I think the before was very important to understanding, like, the levels of corruption that this case had. That is that on that book. And then I just finished this book, which I don't know if you can see. It is, in fact, March 6th. But I loved this book. I once again gave it a 4 just because it wasn't, like, a perfect book for me. But if you can you see how many tabs are on here? Like, this book was kind of a perfect setup for me. The different family dynamics and it just, you could tell when I read the synopsis, I was like, okay, I'm going to eat this up. And I do really, really like this book. It read super fast because it was YA and it was short chapters. I wasn't, like, completely obsessed with it. That's why it didn't get a 5 for me. But I do think it was written so well and it touched on so many different topics. Let me see if I can find a good quote to read. Let me just go to one of my random tabs and I'm sure I'll find one. Okay, I'm going to try not to spoil anything, so I'm going to, like, not say names. On this deck, with the lake before me, blank beside me, I realize something. Contentment isn't complicated or demanding or expensive. For now, maybe, this is enough. You're kidding. I am made up of scraps, anger, shame, sadness, guilt. How do I consolidate them when their edges don't align? How? I disintegrate bone by bone, cell by cell, until I'm nothing. Okay, maybe this book is more a 4.5. Now that I'm reading these quotes, maybe this book is more a 4.5. I really, really liked it. Just all the conversations on grief, on complicated family dynamics, on, like, not understanding your place in the world at 18. Like, it was just done so well. I would definitely pick up another book by this author. Yeah, I don't really have any complaints. There was so much going on. I was never bored, even though it was almost 400 pages. So good. So yeah, those are my books for the book of the month trying. Now, let me go over, is book of the month worth it, okay? So my first month, here, I just went and I looked at it. The first month I paid $5.41. And then the other 3, I paid $17.31. So honestly, I understand for a hardcover that's not like high, but when there are other things about it, as in, like I said before, but it is an important part of this, all of these logos being everywhere, all over your book is branded. And I think if these were just PNGs, instead of having like the color on the background, I'd be a little less offended, but they're everywhere. And so it's like, I just feel like it's a little bit of a high price. I like mostly am buying paperbacks, so it's like kind of a high price. And then with how this one happened, and it's not even folded correctly, it's like, I do have a hard time justifying that price. So I have not continued it. Not saying I wouldn't, because it was fun to do, and I got to find so many new authors. Like, I think that's a good positive, is there's so many authors, like debut authors, or just like authors I wouldn't have tried, or books I wouldn't have tried until I was given this opportunity. So I think that was really nice. And speaking of branding, one part of the branding I do like is I do like this. See how this logo is just a logo and the date? I like that. And I like that you always have the date, because you do always have the date on the back too. But I liked it embellished in the book. I do really like that. Now, something to do with the books. I think you get 5 to 6 books every week. I sometimes found myself being a little disappointed in the options, but you can skip. I didn't like that they also had all the summers we ran. Like, do I really think they should, like, deny a book? No, but also, like, it's a hard subject. But I also feel like having a book like that, it gave Purple Hearts. Is that what the movie was? Why are we having that in this economy? I don't feel like it's appropriate to be, like, pushing that book. And then it was also during Pride Month. I didn't really like that. I didn't. If I'm just being totally, completely honest. But with the company itself, I never had a problem. My books always came on time. I was never charged. It was easy to cancel. That's always a good thing with, like, a subscription based. So ultimately, like, I do think it's worth it, especially if you do, like, hardcovers. And, like, if you don't have a huge physical TBR, like, I think it's nice to, like, be in the know of what books are coming out and, like, and trying out new books. Like, I liked all my books. Like, I have no complaints about the books I got. So that's always a positive. And so, like, I do think it's worth it. I am not continuing it for right now just because I don't love hardbacks, and the aesthetics of the logo do kind of bother me. Yeah, and just, like, although I liked these books, I really like both these books, okay? But also, like, would I rather be reading my books that I have on my physical TBR? Probably. Like, sadly, these books probably would have fallen by the wayside and I wouldn't have read them. But also, like, I do have other books I want to read. Like, I just feel like, I don't know, a lot of the books weren't exactly what I would normally pick up, which is fine. Like, for some people it would be. So I don't see myself continuing it right now. Maybe once I get my physical TBR down even farther than I already have, then maybe. But we shall see. I think those are the only things I had to say. So my negatives are the logo. The price is a little high for me, even though I know it's a good deal for hardcovers. My book being folded incorrectly, and then, like, the options. And then my positives are finding new authors, ease of cancel, ease of choosing, and I found some good books. So, like, I think it's pretty even. I don't think it's like a scam or anything, which I don't think I ever thought it was. But I did really like it. I really enjoyed this. I would love to try this with other book subscriptions. I will probably do that eventually. You know, then I can have like a direct comparison. But I think that's all for today. So if you guys liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have read any of these books and you liked them. And subscribe if you want to see more. And I think that's about it. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!